Today we'll look at the birth chart for Sri Devi, who's a very famous, one of the most famous Bollywood actresses. And if we were to look to the eastern horizon when she was born on August 13, 1963 at 5:30 a.m., um, you can see that the constellation associated with Cancer was rising at 19 degrees. And that becomes the 19 degrees becomes the most effective point of every house. So any planet within um, 5 degrees and 19, like Mercury and Mars, have precedence in the chart, even stronger than exaltation being in its own sign or being multicona. So these are very powerful in her chart. So let's first look and see how the planets are operating. Then we'll look at the timing events, when they were operating, because not everything happens all at once. And then we'll look at what we could do to remedy the chart, to improve the chart. So first thing we want to determine is what are the functional malefic planets, the functional nature of the planets. We always know that Rahu and Ketu are a functional malefic for every chart. That means that they can, not necessarily that they will, but they can cause harm, especially in the transit chart whenever any other planet is aspected or conjunct them near the 26 degrees, within 5 degrees of the 26. Now, or whenever Rahu and Ketu are close to the most effective point, then they are afflicting 6 out of the 12 houses. Now, any multicona sign, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, and 11, is wherever you find those signs, those are the houses, and the signification of that house is what that person is working on in this life. They're working on their life purpose and their longevity. They're working on wealth and recognition and continuation of the marital bond. They're working on business and communication, writing, publishing, performing arts. They're working on happiness through family. They're working on health and delays and conflicts, fire, theft, and cheating. They're working on death-like experiences, transformations, accidents, research, inheritance. They're working on career. So those are the main things that she's working on in this lifetime. So uh, let's see. So we know that the ninth sign, which is Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, that becomes functional malefic because it's in the sixth. And then the eighth house, you see the 11th sign, Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. So that becomes functional malefic. So Saturn and Jupiter, as well as Rahu and Ketu, are functional malefic for this chart. No multicona sign in the 12th house. So let's go through and just see how each of the planets is operating. Sun is at 26 degrees. It's ruling the house of wealth and recognition and continuation of the marital bond. Any planet that's more than 25 degrees is said to be in old age, and any planet that's less than 5 degrees is said to be in adolescence. If you're a young child or an elderly person, it's very difficult to protect or promote your own signification. So, Sun becomes slightly weak. Now, the fact that she gets her wealth through wealth and fame come through Sun being in that first house. So whoever has Sun in the first house, and if it's just fairly strong, they can become very, very successful. Politicians, famous people, actors, actresses. So yeah, she gets her fame through acting and recognition, and so that's Sun. Um, And also this, because it's slightly weak, and affects the continuation of the marital bond, some issues with the marriage. Moon is at 5 degrees. It's very strong and well placed for her in this house of income. It is ruling the house of life purpose and longevity, and health. So this says that she can, her life purpose is connected with working with the public, conveying her emotion in public through acting, which gives her great appeal in terms of being recognized as a good actress. And gave her good income through her mother. Mother was supported her in her acting career. Mars, very strong and well placed as well, ruling the house of career, placed in the house of success through acting, performing arts. And so, and it gave her great courage, because at the time she became an actress, most women in Bollywood were very, they had bad reputation, and so it was frowned upon to become an actress at that time. So she had great courage to become an actress at that time. Mercury's at 21 degrees. And remember, Mars is at close to the most effective point, so it had a lot of impact in her life. Great courage. Mercury is close to the most effective point, so it is ruling this third house of success through business and communication and acting, performing arts, placed in the house of wealth of recognition. So her success comes through her communication, her voice. This is your voice. And so again, acting. Jupiter is at 26 degrees, ruling the house of health, conflicts, delays, disputes, fire, theft, and cheating. And this is also the house of divorce. So Jupiter has to do with husband and children, and it is placed in this house of good fortune. So, gives her healing through relationships. Husband was much older and very controlling, so there was some issues there, and created disputes, delays, She didn't get married till later. Let's see here. Venus is at 21 degrees, also close to the most effective point. And it is ruling the house of happiness through family, property, and Venus is placed in that first house. It is combust. It's very close to the sun, so it is combust sun. And I forgot to mention that Saturn, being functional malefic, is also afflicting sun. Saturn is afflicting Sun at 7 houses away. So that's having some impact there. Now, this gives great beauty, great acting ability, happiness through family, but because it's combust, it can explode. It can burn out. So it doesn't last forever. So in fact, she acted for many years, and then she took, a hiatus when she had her child for maybe 13 years. Then she tried to come back, and it didn't quite work out. Saturn is at 26 degrees, and it is ruling this house of death-like experiences, accidents, research. All actors have to research their roles and to be good actors. So that gave her some abilities to be a good researcher, gave her inheritance, I think, from her mother, because mother had an operation that did not go well, and she sued and got a lot of money from the medical insurance. And also Saturn has to do with longevity. So let's look at Rahu and Ketu. So Ketu and Rahu. Rahu gives desire. Now, Rahu is not afflicting anybody in the birth chart. So that means it's fairly benign. It's not close to the most effective point. It's not, Ketu is not afflicting anything that I can see. So they're fairly benign. So Rahu gives desire for liberation, spiritual growth, and K2 gives insights into healing. Healing through acting. Acting is a form of helping people heal their emotions. So that's Rahu and Ketu. Now, whenever Rahu and Ketu get close to the most effective point in the transit chart, which we'll see now, that can cause a lot of issues. So let's look at the transit chart. Well, first let's go through the timing of events. So she was born during a Sun-Mercury period. Mercury, being acting and communication, becomes the root of her tree of life, what she came here to do. Now, she got married and her mom died, I think, in 1996. So that was during a Venus period. Venus rules the house of mother and family. So that's the general thing of what happened during that period of time. That's the Dasha period when she was got married and her mom died. And then we see in November 5th, 2000, she had a daughter, and that was during a Jupiter period. Jupiter represents children. Now she died. She died during a Saturn period. So Saturn represents longevity and also death-like experiences. So let's look at the transit chart. So this chart is circular, and the houses are just like the other chart: 1, 2, 3, 4th house, 5th house, 6th house, etc. The inner circle is where the planets were when she was born, and the outer circle is where the transits are. Actually, the date of her death, which was February 24th, 2018. And now, if we look and see what was happening then, we look at any of the planets in the transit chart that are close to the most effective point, which was 19 degrees. So we see Rahu and Ketu right away. They're at 20 degrees. So they are afflicting the house they're in, and then the houses 5, 7, and 9 houses away. So Rahu is creating unexpected events to her body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Investments. Apparently there was some bad investments. They lost a lot of money, had to sell off a lot of their property. 6, 7, the relationship went sour. A lot of problems with the relationship. 8, 9, good fortune is lost. Then you got K2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Income is stopped. 6, 7, body. Death like unexpected calamity to the body. 8, 9, end of success. So when they're close to the most effective point, Rahu and Ketu afflict 6 out of your 12 houses. Causes lots and lots of issues. Now, what else was happening? You see a lot of planets here in the house of death-like experiences. You see Saturn. She's in a Saturn period when she died. And so Saturn is longevity is affected. It's traveling through a Dhisthana house, a challenging house, so causing health issues. She drowned. This is Sagittarius's can be water sign, but it's also fire sign. Anyway, so yeah, you see Saturn here, the Mahadasha of Saturn, And I think Venus is also close to the most effective point, and it's in the house of death-like experiences. That's family. So yeah, a lot of things going on. And what can we do to improve this chart? Well, any planets that are malefic, we don't want to strengthen. We want to transform through chants and charities. So Rahu and Ketu, helping people through helping spiritual organizations for K2, and helping people who cannot help themselves for Rahu, listening to chants for Ganesh, listening to chants for Shiva for Rahu, and then we want to transform Jupiter and Saturn. So Jupiter is again helping spiritual organizations listening to Ganesh chants on Thursdays, and Saturn is helping charities on Saturdays and listening again to Shiva chants on Saturdays. So those would be the things that you could do to transform the malefics. Now, the other planets we want to strengthen. So we would strengthen, say, Sun by wearing orange on Sundays and listening to Vishnu chants on Sundays, or wearing a kavash or a ruby. Kavash is a locket containing the Devi TVA for Sun. So it's a very economical way to strengthen the planets without going out and buying expensive gems that you're not sure of their quality. Moon is strong, but it can always be improved. So moonstone, wearing white on Mondays, having the yantra in the locket for moon. Mars is strong, but wearing red colors, red coral, wearing a kavash, all can be helpful on Tuesdays. Mercury definitely needs some strengthening. So that would be wearing green on Wednesdays, an emerald on the pinky finger, or again, the kavash. Jupiter, wearing yellow on Thursdays, a yellow sapphire or kavash. Venus, wearing white on Fridays, wearing a diamond and kavash. All of those things would be helpful. So if you're interested in a transformational Vedic astrology reading, you can go to www.vastucreations.com with an S on the end, and go under services, and there's several different astrology readings to choose from there. Or if you would like to learn transformational Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu.com to get certified and learn Vedic transformational Vedic astrology. Thank you for listening.